Hey guys. Hello. All right, let's share this to my group real quick. All right, cool. Uh-oh. All right, so, hey. Hello. All right, this is live stream number 2 for me today. I didn't plan on doing 2 live streams today, but I just got back home from picking up my daughter from camp, and I had this series of thoughts that came through me. And it was just, how you have those thoughts and you're like, oh, that makes complete sense, right? So I just wanted to hop on really quick and share this with you. And it's around emotions, obviously. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, hey, Latoya, it's because I myself am a very emotional woman, right? I feel emotions deeply, right? I feel other people's emotions deeply. And so emotions have always been something that I've had to learn how to manage and how to, I won't say control, but how to manage in my life, right? And so here's something that came to me today when I was driving in the car, and I was just thinking about a couple of experiences that I had today. And hey, Steve, how are you? I had a couple of experiences today where I felt triggered emotionally, right? And in the moment that I, was having that experience, I recognized I could feel the emotions in my body, right? And it didn't feel good, right? I felt very tense inside. I felt very, just constricted inside, right? But in that good morning, yes, it is morning for you. So, but for me, I made the choice in that moment. I was like, this doesn't feel good. I don't want to, or you're going to bed. Oh, so it must be like early wee hours in the morning for you, Steve. If you're going to bed, and it's probably I don't know what time it is, but it's probably not as early as I'm thinking it is. Oh gosh, what was I saying? So I had these 2 moments today that triggered me. And in the moment, I felt it. I didn't like it. And I decided, you know what? I don't want to feel this way, right? I want to feel differently. I want to feel good about, these particular situations that came up today. And so I simply just made the decision. I was like, nope, this is not how I'm feeling. I'm not going to think, these thoughts that go along with this emotion. I'm going to think something different, right? And so in the car, I was driving home and I was like, you know what? I was like, this is exactly how we get into a negative loop of thinking, because our mind and our emotions, that's okay, Steve, because our mind and emotions are so connected, right? So anytime you're having an experience, whether it is a good experience or a bad experience, your body is producing chemicals to create this experience in your body. Right? So that's all emotions are. Emotions are energy in motion, but it's your body having an experience, right? So where we get into this, hey, Parisa, how are you? I hope I'm saying your name right. Where we get into trouble is we get into this negative feedback loop because our body sends this message that we're feeling sad, or that we're feeling insecure, or that we're feeling not confident, or that we're feeling like things are going to fall apart. So that message gets sent to our brain, which our brain then says, oh, we're in trouble. Oh my gosh, we got to do something. And then you start having the thoughts that go along with the emotion, right? And so you just keep this loop going where your mind and your emotions are just constantly just looping together, right? But what I want to share with you today is that you are more than your emotions, because then what happens is we take that emotion and we give it meaning, right? We assign meaning to that emotion. So if we have an emotion that, that we would label as negative, we tend to look at that meaning as, oh my gosh, I'm a bad person for feeling this way, right? And this is me personally. Maybe, you all watching this have never experienced this, but I've had moments where I have felt like, oh my gosh, I didn't feel like I was the best person because I wasn't feeling like I was the best person. But I was having these heavy emotions, and then giving those emotions a meaning that this is bad, right? That this is not good, that, I shouldn't be feeling this way, or what kind of person am I if I'm constantly having these feelings and these emotions, right? But see, we've got to stop tagging We've got to stop, hey Aaron, how are you? We've got to stop tagging meaning to our emotions and understand that our emotions are simply an experience that we're having in a particular moment. And we don't have to then take the thought of, oh my gosh, this is bad, or why am I feeling this way, or I knew this was never going to happen, or oh my gosh, things are falling apart. We can actually tell our mind to think a different thought, right? Or you can choose to no longer sit in that emotion anymore. And I feel like what a lot of people do is we get into this space of, I'm not saying don't feel your emotions, but what I'm saying is don't like unpack your bag and stay there. You know what I mean? Like, don't unpack your bag and stay there. It's like, allow yourself to feel the emotion and recognize the emotion, but then also understand that you have the ability to shift that experience, that emotion at any moment you choose. But what happens is we go through this loop so many times between our mind and our brain, between our mind and our emotions, and our bodies get addicted to this whole chemical reaction that takes place when we have an emotion, right? That's all an emotion is, really, outside of energy emotion. It's also, chemicals emotion in your body. And so then our body gets used to this way of feeling, and you begin to create this truth in your mind, this unconscious truth in your mind that this is just the way that it is, right? Or you create this truth in your mind that it somehow can't be different, that you're stuck in this place and that you're not able to get out of this place, right? But it's all up here, right? It's all what we are allowing the mind to believe. See, that was a really big breakthrough for me a couple of years ago when I realized that, wait a minute, I may be feeling this way, but I've been given the power of a sound mind, right? So that means that I'm able to give my mind direction, regardless of what my body may be feeling and what my body may be going through. I can still give my mind direction to create something different if I choose to. And I know in some, it takes practice. I mean, it can feel hard to do that in the moment. It takes practice, I get it. But the more you practice it and the more that you do it, it gets a little bit easier. And so the other piece that I wanted to share with you today is that no matter what emotions that you are having or had or whatever, they don't define who you are, right? They don't define who you are. So like for me, I've had a lot of heavy emotions in my life, right? Some deep, hurtful wounds that, brought up some really strong emotions for me. And I related to that as weak, right? Or that I wasn't able to actually, take care of myself, or that I wasn't able to, be anything other than what these emotions were saying that I was, right? And so we can create a new meaning for those emotions. We don't even have to give the emotions a meaning, really, at all. We can just say, okay, I'm feeling this way. I recognize it. What are you trying to show me? What is here for me to see? What is here for me to see? And then move from that space and decide what you want to be feeling and thinking in the next experience that you have. Right? And so we don't have to stay stuck in that place. You can find a way to reconnect back to your truth, because our emotions are not always truth, right? And sometimes we can take it for truth, and we think that the way that we're feeling is true. Like we can think that, oh, I'm feeling insecure right now, and we can believe that's true, and we'll identify with that. I mean, you've heard people say, oh, this is my insecurity, or people will say, I'm just so stubborn. This is just the way that I am. Nothing is the way that you are unless you have consciously made the decision that this is who you are. Right? So you can choose to be something otherwise, or to be the true representation of who you were created to be, right? Like I believe like my truth is who God says that I am, right? My truth is who Source says that I am. So I know that anything that comes at me that doesn't match up with that, that's not my truth. So then this comes down to you then also figuring out, okay, what is your truth? And allowing that to be your guiding light, through this emotional journey of life, right? And don't think that don't allow your mind to go on the trip with your emotions, right? Because as soon as we start feeling something, as soon as maybe we feel like someone's upset with us, right? And we feel bad because maybe, I don't know, gosh, what do we do? And you're feeling emotional about it. Your mind will start creating all of these stories because it is feeding off of the emotion being created in your body. But if you make the decision to say, okay, we're not going on this ride, right? Like mind, we're not going on this ride. We know what the truth is. We know a better way to handle this or to work through this. We can say, okay, emotions, what do you want me to learn from this? Is there something I need to, heal from or look at, and then move from it? Don't stay there, move from it, right? So anyway, I'm going to get off of here. That was just something I wanted to share around emotions, because I feel like a lot of the times, we can allow our emotions to just, take over, and we're constantly just being led by these emotions when we actually have the power to create the truth that we desire to live by. Regardless of how you may be feeling, you can decide what your truth is going to be, and your emotions will catch up with it, right? You can decide how you want to feel, and your mind can catch up with it. For me, it's because I'm a thinker. I'm always in my mind. It's easier for me to get my mind around how I want to feel and then direct my body and my emotions. But for some of you, it may be easier for you to shift your emotion and then get your mind on board. Whatever works for you. But your mind and your body they're connected. Okay, and so when you find yourself going down this rabbit hole of this emotion you don't want to be in, understand it's because your mind and your body are constantly communicating back and forth with one another, and you're just staying in this constant loop. So you've got to shift one of them. You've got to shift your emotion to something different, or you've got to shift your mind. You got to choose one. I always say that your mind, your thoughts create your emotions, right? But it's also, thank you so much, Steve. I always say that your thoughts create your emotions, but it could also be the other way around. Your emotions can create your thoughts as well, because it's just a loop, right? That's all it is, just a constant feedback loop that your body is giving to you. So just wanted to share that. Thank you guys for being here. If you have not messaged me about my 3 places for one-on-one coaching, you're going to want to do that really soon. Those places will be gone this week. And it's all about me working with you one-to-one, helping you reconnect to your truth, right? Yes, there'll be mindset work, but this is going to be deep transformational work with you and I. If you want to find out more about it, just message me, or I'll put the link for you to sign up for a discovery session to find out more, okay? Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you have questions, pop them below, and I'll be happy to answer, okay? Talk to you soon. Bye.